By placing this basket of black oak acorns on our altar, we acknowledge that we are residents of or visitors on land that was never ceded, never given up by the Nisenan people, who are still here among us despite the fraudulent removal of their federal tribal recognition. We seek to help correct their erasure and exclusion from California history and to support their efforts to stabilize their people. Okay. All right, I invite you to take a moment to greet those around you. Okay, a lively bunch today. Please rise in body and or spirit and join in singing hymn number 1008 in the teal hymnal. I guess we're going to use the slides. When our heart is in a holy place.
Good morning. I know those of you who have been here before were surprised to see your seats in different places. It is I, the Holy Disruptor. My name is Lindsay Dunkel, and I am a member here at the Unitarian Universalist Community of the Mountains, serving as your worship leader this morning. Now would be an excellent time to silence your cell phones, if you haven't done so already. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to those in the room and to those on Zoom and those who will find us later on YouTube. And an extra special welcome to those of you who are here for the very first time or the very first time in a long time. I know what a courageous leap it can be to come into new spaces. And I am so glad you are here. Together, we are a group of seekers of question askers who come for solace, for inspiration, for connection, for our worldviews to be reaffirmed or stretched or challenged, who come to receive a balm or to be stirred to action. We come with many histories, with unique burdens and joys. We come here from many places, both literally and figuratively, and this place is the richer for it. Today, we continue to explore the theme, Finding Our Center, in a service that's titled Some Assembly Required. Yes, as some were quick to point out, assembly has two meanings: to get together with others, to assemble, and to put something together, to assemble it. And we'll be embracing both meanings as we dig into finding our center this morning. You may have noticed that the chairs are arranged in clusters, and now it is time for the first bit of assembly. I have a small table for each group of chairs. So could one person from each group come and get a small table to take back and place in the center of your chairs, and we can help you if needed.
Steadied by Each Other by Reverend Scott Taylor. Pulled in many directions by the demands of our days, we light this chalice to remind us of the still point deep inside. Made unsteady by the winds of unpredictable paths, we light this chalice to remember where we are, to remember the shelter of each other. I use my finger. Longing for lights that lead us back to our truest selves, we kindle this chalice to illuminate the faces of friends and sacred companions, recalling once again that we find our way through the willingness to take each other's hand.
I invite those of you at home to light a candle or chalice. And we have a candle to serve as a chalice on each group's little table. More assembly required. Will one person from each group please come forward to collect one? Reverend Joan Johnson Lewis writes, as we light our candles this week, we imagine the lights that shine within each of us. We each have intention. We each have experience. We each have thoughts. We each have feelings, and we each have wisdom. May these candles remind us to be in touch with those best and most unique lights of our own being, and to bring them into this room today, into all that we do in the world.
One more slide, Bob. There is something magical about candlelight, isn't there? I invite you to lower your gaze, take in the flame, perhaps close your eyes as you listen, plant your feet on the floor, get comfortable in your chair. I have a meditation to share with you written by Reverend Joan Johnson Lewis called Finding Your Center. I invite you to join a meditative experience of finding your center. Breathe. Breathe deeply and fully. Breathe in, taking air into your body to nourish you. Breathe out, letting go of what your body no longer needs. Just breathe. Consciously center your attention on your own body and breath. If you notice distractions from outside or inside, just let them be. Imagine or sense within you your own center, nourished and protected by your breath. When you are feeling centered in yourself, let your focus shift to also take in those around you. Sense in your imagination a connection from your center to the center of one of those others around you. Imagine it's an invisible thread, one between you and another person, another thread to another person. Thread after thread after thread, each between your center and the center of another. As your mind takes in all of these threads, sense or imagine also the threads that start from each of those others and connect to another, not you, weaving an invisible net of connections. Center to center, true and best self to true and best self. Breathe in a sense of the connection from others to the preciousness in you. Breathe out a sense of your connecting to these precious others. Breathe in connection to your center. Breathe out connection from your center. Breathe, center, connect. Feel the power that flows from your center through those threads, through other centers, and back to your center. Breathing centered in the present. Then imagine a thread from the present you're experiencing to the future. What from this experience do you want to carry with you into that future? What is a choice you want to make about how you want to be in that future, connecting to your center and connecting to that invisible net of threads, center to center? Take a few moments to imagine yourself in that future with that intention fulfilled. Then back to your center in the present. breathing in with what nourishes you, out with what you no longer need. Take a few more breaths, then come back to conscious presence in this moment, in this room, with these others who are here. We'll begin again after a few moments of silence. When I was a little girl, which when I was thinking about this story, I realized was half a century ago, which stunned me. I lived in Switzerland as a kindergartner and a first grader. And my father was working for a paper company that transferred him there and then transferred him back to San Francisco. And I arrived back in San Francisco and I felt so different. I started at a new school and people kept their shoes on. They didn't wear slippers at school. And all the girls knew how to jump rope together and they knew all the same songs and I did not know them. I felt alone, disconnected, and as if I really didn't quite belong. But then there was this girl named Lila. And it turned out that when I got brave enough to tell her that I really liked to play pretend, that she did too. And that my favorite toy was my baby doll, Clara. She told me her favorite toy was her baby doll, Victoria. And we got together after school with Clara and Victoria. And then there was this girl, Lisa. And I told Lisa that I really liked making art. And Lisa really liked making art too. And so we started taking art classes after school together. And Lisa and Lila, to this very day, from second grade, are still two of my close friends. Clara and Victoria don't make the gatherings very often. So the moral of the story is when you're feeling different and apart, which I think is just part of the human condition, most of us feel that at some time, revealing a little bit about yourself can help you find connections to others. There's that net we were imagining, right? So in order to find connections with other people, true connections, we need to do two things: to listen deeply to what they have to say, and to be willing to be vulnerable enough to share with them some of the things that lie at our center. So, some assembly required. It's pretty easy to find superficial things in common. So how many people here are human? There's gonna be a very few zombies today. If you live in Nevada County, touch your nose. So many people who live in Nevada County. If you identify as female, wave your hand. If you like ice cream, clap once. So many things that I have in common with so many of you, but then we can dig a little deeper. If you love to lose yourself in a novel, put up your pinky. If you find cooking to be a creative outlet, make a circle with your hand. If you feel closest to a oneness with creation when you are backpacking in the Sierra, give me a thumbs up. If you wince a little when you think back on how shy and awkward you were as a teenager, shield your eyes. Okay, you get the idea. So now we're all going to get a chance to practice making connections, those in the room and those on Zoom. So those of you on Zoom, you'll get an invitation in a minute to join a breakout group if you feel comfortable doing so. And for those in the room, you'll share with the people in your small group of seats. If you're alone or there are only two people in your group, I invite you to rearrange, or if you have a very large group, there's a whole set of chairs up here that's empty, always. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to talk together and find 4 things that you all have in common. So hopefully not superficial things, but a little bit deeper. I'll give you some time to chat, and then I'll let you know when we have 1 minute remaining. And Zoom rooms, you'll see a message with a 1 minute warning. So let's begin. What can you find in common? I'm going to call you back from your rich conversations. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap 2 times. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Always works like magic. So what was that like for you? For those on Zoom, you can comment in the chat and Eileen will share some of your responses and I'm gonna stroll among you. What was that like for you? What did it feel like?
I was very surprised how we didn't easily come up with thoughts that were equally shared by all 4 of us.
Did or didn't?
Did not.
Okay, very surprised that we didn't, how hard it was that we didn't come up with thoughts that were equally shared among all of us. Other thoughts, how was that?
We came up with 4 things ranging from very serious to very mundane.
So we came up with 4 things ranging from very serious to very mundane. And Siri wants to chime in on that. Yes. So somebody would say something and the rest would say yay or nay, and then it would engender a lot of conversation. Yes.
I think I learned more about things that people didn't like 4 out of 5 would like something, and then you learn more from the person that's like, actually, I don't like cooking.
So one of the things that came up was it was easier to learn about, you learned a lot about people about what they didn't like. Like 4 people would agree on something and one person would say, no, actually, I don't like cooking, for instance. Other thoughts? Yes. This is a very agreeable group here in the back of the room. They agreed on everything. It was easy for us to come up with 4, and it felt like fun, like summer camp. Yes.
Well, we had a mixed generational group, which is not very common. And I was noticing that as we were having, it wasn't easy to find something. I did find something. But still, I find myself wondering, okay, how will these generations play out?
So this was a mixed generational group, which added another layer of challenge. And they found things, but it was interesting to see how the generational differences played out. Yes.
We quickly found things in common, and I realized, well, we're Unitarians. We have things in common.
This group quickly found things in common, and then Jim realized, oh, well, we're Unitarians. We have things in common. All right, Eileen, what are the people in chat saying?
We all felt heaven help the parents of teenagers. One person said, I had fun. We all Zoom a lot. We all have grandchildren. We're all aging and we're all retired. Our group shared that we all have a love for nature. Our group shared our UU principles, our age group over 50, a common history, and we are all white, middle class, and speak English. And one person said it's actually very easy to find a deeper connection with others. You just need to ask the right questions and be willing to share your inner thoughts and feelings.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for playing along. When we meet someone new, most people focus on the differences that they perceive, especially across races. But conversations go further and bonds are built faster when we focus on the things that we have in common, the things that connect us. We tend to use a process called social perception, my psychologist self is showing, to quickly categorize people so that we can predict their behavior. It's just something that our brains do. And once they're categorized, they kind of get flattened out, right? And we can break through this by making a deeper connection, by listening deeply and revealing some of our deeper self, some of our center. This past week in my Soul Matters circle, one person commented at the end of our time together that they have often felt like an odd duck, different from other people, but that the Soul Matters sharing format, which are these groups that many people in the congregation are in, small groups, discussion groups around the theme of the month. But the Soul Matters sharing format always leaves them realizing that they share thoughts and feelings and points of view with others, and that perhaps, just perhaps, they're not such an odd duck after all. That's maybe the best summation that I have heard of the feeling of a Soul Matters circle. So most weeks we have an opportunity to symbolize how being in community together lightens our burdens and magnifies our joys by dropping stones that symbolize those burdens and joys into a bowl of water that symbolizes how this community holds those for one another. And today, we're going to build on those connections in your small groups and share joys and sorrows that we're carrying out loud in those groups if you feel comfortable doing so. For those on Zoom, you'll be invited into a breakout room again for this part, so you can speak your joys and sorrows rather than putting them in the chat. And for those in the room, some assembly required again. We need one person from each group to come get a bowl and one stone for each person in your group. Of course, not all joys and sorrows are ready to be shared out loud. You are always welcome to drop your stone in silence if that's what feels comfortable for you. So will one person from each group please come forward? Yeah. There are weeks when I find myself assembling with others in this building 6 times in 7 days. for a meeting, for choir rehearsal, for my Soul Matters group, for string ensemble practice, for a justice event, for a Sunday service, or assembling things for activities to do with the kids upstairs. And I think how my everyday life would be diminished if it weren't for UUCM. I am grateful for this place, part haven, part push, which sustains me and grows my connections with so many people, ideas, and opportunities to be of service. UUCM is sustained in turn by our donations, which make up the operating budget each year. And each month, 25% of our Sunday morning offering is donated to a local nonprofit that shares our values. This month, that nonprofit is Sierra Roots, which serves chronically homeless individuals by building relationships and providing immediate needs of nutritious hot meals, clothing, and shelter, especially during severe weather events in the communities of Nevada City and Grass Valley. They have been hard at work in the last few weeks. If you would like to have your whole contribution go to Sierra Roots, please put your donation in the white envelope that you will find in the basket. Your giving is vital to our ability to sustain the work of our community. Thank you for your generosity. And please listen for other ways to give.
Your generosity remains essential to our ability to sustain the work of our community. There are several ways to contribute. You may text an amount to 833-579-0483, give via our website at uugrassvalley.org, via PayPal at paypal.me/UUCM, or mail to UUCM 246 South Church Street, Grass Valley, California, 95945. Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. It's making me think that there are ways other than words to connect to somebody's center. Thank you. We dedicate these offerings to living up to the first principle of Unitarian Universalism, recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every person. May we continue to strive to see ourselves in others, to sense what connects us more than what divides us. Many thank yous for putting together a Sunday service. Thank you to Randy McKeon for being worship associate and for adding his music. Thank you to George Dunstan for reading, and Randy McKeon for that as well, and for being my husband.
That's what we discovered we had the same.
Yeah, we discovered so many things in common. We got married on the same day 30 years ago. Thank you to Gary Lauer and Bob Miller back there doing our AV, not RV, and to Siobhan as well, Siobhan Boylan, who puts together so many things for us behind the scenes. Thank you to Eileen for being chat host extraordinaire today and many Sundays. Thank you to Shanti for our beautiful setting. Shanti Miller. We're giving Shanti a new last name today. Thank you to Gwen and Laura and Carl for greeting this morning. And Jean, I saw you greeting this morning. To Rain and Lori for refreshments, for Joe Waters and Charlene Dugan, who were upstairs with our kids this morning. To Reverend Janet Ani and Carol Fulkerson, our office manager, Mary Lindsay, our communications coordinator, and thank you again to Toby. Our mid-year community business meeting is today at 1 p.m. Please arrive no later than 12:45. You are welcome to arrive earlier and get signed in. We invite you to sign up to join a circle supper today in the lobby after the service. You can also find out more about what those are. Next Sunday is the Nevada County Home Path presentation at 12 o'clock. And hallelujah, we just got word yesterday that UUCM has been recognized by the UUA as a good trouble congregation. So all those postcards to voters, look at that, that's terrific. And a special shout out to Gail Johnson Vaughn. And you can learn about Sunday services and so much more on our wonderful website at uugrassvalley.org. And now won't you rise and join in singing Building Bridges, hymn number 1023. We're gonna sing it all together once through, and then we're gonna sing it as a round with this half of the room and that half of the room. Follow along, it'll be easy.
Visions.
When the weight of the world tips us over. I get it. I didn't do that on purpose.
When the winds of the world leave us spinning.
When the voices of the world lead us astray,
May we remember that here, home is always waiting.
with stillness to calm us,
Friends to anchor us.
and voices to help us find our way.
Having found stillness, may we share peace.
Having received connection, may we reach out to others.
Having heard the call of our deepest self, may we live in greater alignment.
Having returned to our center, may we expand the circle of love. I invite you to blow out the candles on your little tables. And even as we blow out these flames, we know we will carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. I invite you to see you next Sunday for our Center in Motion with Carol Nimick and Randy McKeon. I invite you to join us at the back for refreshments if you would like. And Reverend Ani is going to be in a breakout room in the library if you'd like to check in with her. Thank you.